What's up, guys? Beer here back in the Fantasy Bar. 6 of my favorite plays for a big Wednesday night slate in the NBA covering FanDuel, Draftkings, and Yahoo. Who is my favorite value play on the slate? Who do I think is underpriced on the slate? And who is my favorite play of the night? Belly up to the Fantasy Bar and find out. Welcome in, guys. Wednesday edition Beers Daily Fantasy 6-pack. Good to be back here once again in the Fantasy Bar. Huge slate of games here on Wednesday night. And I'm back once again with 6 of my favorite plays fresh off the tap for you. Nobody over 9K on FanDuel. And Draftkings, try to make life easy on you. Make that lineup building process easy. Got a ton of games to choose from. Before we get into it, let's talk Zion Williamson. Not going to include him here today in the 6-pack, but expected to make his debut here tonight. If ownership, we'll see. Keep an eye on it. Not saying he's out of play, but we'll leave him on the sidelines for now. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys. Make sure you get notified when the videos are coming out. Also, if you enjoy the Fantasy Bar, whether it's your first time or you're a long-time bar patron, do me a favor. Click that thumbs up button. Really helps us out, and we'll say thank you later on in the video with a special contest. Now, let's jump into the plays here for today. Again, big slate of games. Lots of choices to be made here. We're going to start the point guard position with Kemba Walker of the Celtics. So I see these prices on Kemba Walker, and I think they're too cheap. You look at that FanDuel price at $6,800. So his price touched $6,700, but for the most part, we've been paying in the 7s, the 8s for this guy all season long. So it's $6,800, $74 on DraftKings. I think it's a nice buy low spot here on Kemba Walker. We're looking at this massive slate of games. All these teams playing tonight. Guess who has the highest projected team total? You got the answer right in front of you there on the graphic. Boston projected for 120 points in this matchup. We know this is not the Memphis Grizzlies of old. This is a team that loves to get up and down the floor, and they play very little defense, especially against the point guard position. 27th in defensive efficiency against this position. Bottom 10 in fantasy points allowed. Kemba Walker, great spot here. Great prices given those lineups tonight against the Memphis Grizzlies. All right, let's go to point guard, small forward, Will Barton of the Nuggets. So small forward on FanDuel, you can utilize him at point guard. On DraftKings if you want. I would still stick with the small forward designation there. But point is, with all the injuries with Denver, we still have no Jamal Murray, no Gary Harris, no Paul Millsap. The minutes, the production, all been there for Will Barton. In fact, the floor been very solid with this guy. 30 or more fantasy points now in 10 of the last 12 games. The GPP ceiling is there as well. We know this guy can pop off at any time for 40, 45, 50 fantasy points here. And the Rockets have struggled. We look at defense versus archetype, something you can find on RotoGrinders.com. Scoring wings like Will Barton have really put it to the Houston Rockets here. Again, bottom 3 against this type of player. So it's all there. The minutes are there. Short in rotation with all the injuries. The floor, the ceiling. Will Barton, tremendous spot here tonight against the Houston Rockets. All right, we're not done with the Denver Nuggets. Next pick for us with some value at point guard with Monte Morris. So I know a lot of you have probably been playing Monte Morris. You're kind of sick of it. Well, we had to be encouraged by that last game and still playing a ton of minutes right now. He's down the pecking order offensively. I think they're going to need his offense here a little bit more against Houston tonight. Should be a higher scoring game. Denver gets the biggest pace jump on the slate here tonight playing against the Houston Rockets. So obviously goes without saying how important that is. Higher pace, more possessions, more opportunities, more usage for our players, especially a guy like Monte Morris, who's going to have the ball in his hands a ton in this game. And the Rockets grade out pretty good in a lot of defensive stats, but fantasy points, bottom 10 to the point guard position here. So Monte Morris, still pretty cheap. Love that $4,000 price point on FanDuel and the $12 on Yahoo, even DraftKings under 5K. There's plenty of meat on that bone here tonight with Monte Morris. All right, moving right along back to the mid-range at power forward center, Marvin Bagley of the Kings. So pricing-wise, you look at him, 65 on DraftKings. I'm good with that. 51 on FanDuel, $20 on Yahoo. I think he's a cash game lock at those prices. Tournament plays across the board here with Marvin Bagley. Another guy where the minutes starting to trend up here. The fantasy production, surprise, surprise, goes right with that increase in minutes. And we know he was coming off the injury. Minutes were limited a little bit, but the last couple games averaging over 36 FanDuel points a game. And why do we look at just these 2 games? They were against much tougher defenses. Utah, Miami, he played well against those teams. What's he going to do against a team that ranks 30th in the NBA in defensive efficiency against the power forward position? My answer, he's going to go nuts here against the Detroit Pistons. As good of a matchup as it gets and way too cheap on FanDuel and Yahoo tonight. Lock in some Marvin Bagley against the Detroit Pistons. All right, let's stay down low. Let's get you a center. We're going to stay in the mid-range with Montrezl Harrell of the Clippers. So the Clippers, Mavericks, the only game on the slate last night. I know a lot of people worry about back-to-back, so I did a little bit of digging here. And Montrezl Harrell been outstanding in the second leg of back-to-backs this season, averaging almost 42 FanDuel points per game in those contests. Now, very limited sample. Don't need the sample police coming after me here, but the numbers bear out. Plays very well in these scenarios. So we add that to a great price. We add that to a matchup with the Atlanta Hawks, a team that we have been targeting all season long with centers. Bottom 5 in fantasy points allowed to the position. Also bottom 5 against versatile bigs like Montrezl Harrell, a guy that can get up and down the floor. That's been an Achilles heel here for the Atlanta Hawks. So a great matchup, a great price, and been solid in back-to-backs. Montrezl Harrell, some run here tonight against the Atlanta Hawks. All right, it's time to take a look at my favorite play for this big Wednesday night slate. But before we do that, guys, I promised you we're going to run it back, and we're going to do just that. The Beast of the Night contest rolls on here. All you got to do, absolutely free to play, get in the comment section below the video and let me know fantasy points on Draftkings for my Beast of the Night. Closest guests going to win themselves 3 free days of RotoGrinders Premium. Again, going to give you access to everything we have behind the paywall and free to play. A thank you to you guys for checking out the video. Now, let's take a look at who we're voting on, who those fantasy points are going to be. Take a look at my favorite play of the night. You know, Mass, the Beast of the Night. All right, Beast time. We're going to wrap it up at shooting guard. We're going to stay at that 9K threshold here with Zach LaVine of the Bulls, tonight's Beast of the Night. So great spot here for Zach LaVine tonight. Whether you're talking cash games, tournaments, think he's playable across the board. Gives you a great cash game floor. The amount of minutes this guy plays, the shot attempts. Every night, it's somewhere in the 18 to 25 range. So we know this dude is going to get his shots up, and also gives you that huge GPP winning ceiling, getting into the 50s, 60s, potentially 70s in fantasy points in any matchup, let alone one like this in a pace-up spot. Zach LaVine loves to get up and down the floor. I know you've watched him play. This guy's a highlight waiting to happen, so any kind of pace-up game, I really love going to Zach LaVine. And Minnesota, not only is it a pace-up, it's a great matchup. Bottom 10 in fantasy points allowed to shooting guards, bottom 10 in defense versus archetype against scoring wings like Zach LaVine. Great spot once again here tonight, making Zach LaVine easily my favorite play on the board in tonight's Beast of the Night. All right, guys, that wraps up for Wednesday night in the Fantasy Bar. Any comments, questions, feedback, hit me up in the comments section right below the video. Don't forget, fantasy points for Zach LaVine on Draftkings. Closest guess will win 3 free days of RotoGrinders Premium. You can also follow me on Twitter at BeerMakersFan. For RotoGrinders.com, I am Beer saying salut. Best of luck tonight, guys. Remember, tomorrow, limited slate of games, so we'll be back once again on Friday. Good luck. Zion, we'll see how it goes here tonight. Go get them, guys, and we'll see you back here on Friday.
Hey, thanks for checking out our videos. If you want more expert advice on DraftKings, FanDuel, or any other daily fantasy sports, make sure you check out the current videos playlist.
everybody? Happy Wednesday and welcome to Grinderslive over on RotoGrinders.com and, of course, over on YouTube. I'm Eric Crane, joined by Big T, Tony Two Snaps, Tony Niehaus. What's up, Tony? How we doing, brother?
What's going on? I love the Tony Two Snaps. That's up my alley. I like that.
I think that's my favorite nickname. Like, of everybody at RotoGrinders, Tony Two Snaps, I think, is that's got to be up there.
I like it. I mean, that was the funniest still when I don't even remember who it was in chat that day, but I don't know if they thought they were making fun of me or what, but I loved it.
No, it was solid. It was like a good nickname. Like, I prefer the no snaps. I like doing the
I like that hat too. If I had that hat, I'd gladly be no snaps.
Yeah, like this hat's fire, man. This is like my most comfortable hat. All right, before we jump in to this big boy NBA slate, and it's a 12-game slate. Tony and we have discussed time and time again how much we hate these giant slates, so we're going to be a couple of positive dudes talking about this whole thing. But first, guys, over on YouTube, we are back on YouTube. We're not suspended today. Tomorrow, you never know, it might be a different story. But today we're not suspended, which means get your you-know-what over to YouTube, click like, and subscribe. And here's a special thing for you guys, all right? You don't even have to be premium for this. If we get 250 likes on the page while we're on this show, and look, with Tony Two Snaps and myself, we should be able to get 250 likes, all right? You're going to get crunch time for free. And on a 12-game slate, on a slate where we're waiting on a lot of news, that is huge to have that crunch time leading up until NBA lock. Because, Tony, as you know, when the slates are this big and the season is this late, we're almost into February now, the news comes fast and furious later on. I mean, when this part of the season is here and there are this many games on the slate, Tony, I don't know about you, but crunch time is completely invaluable to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how people survive these days without the projections and stuff like that in general to begin with. But then you throw in a 12-game slate. I mean, on a site like Draftkings and these sites where you can pivot late to stuff and late, and this is one of the reasons I don't like late swap, but that's a whole different subject. But there's
you and I are the last two that don't like late swap, by the way. Everybody loves late swap except for us.
Some slates I don't mind it as much, but on a 12-game slate, like, if news hits in the right way, like you could end up sitting on the computer till 10 p.m. instead of 7. And it's just, I mean, you have to wait on news. Your whole night's depending on different things. I'd rather just lock it in like on FanDuel, be done with it. If you get screwed, you get screwed. It's going to happen to everyone throughout the course of the year. But whole different subject. Back to the original point. Every single day I'm watching Crunch Time. And the nice thing is when you get all three of them on there is you get Meansy will give you just a solid core type plays that you should be building around. And then JSU, I mean, this dude, I make fun of his basketball game, but
it's easy to do.
Real easy to do. I mean, he's short, bad on the court, but he does pick winners in the NBA DFS. And I love looking at his conviction plays because there's stuff on there that I love when you look at a guy's plays and you might not have thought of a guy. Like today, I don't know if we're allowed to give spoilers, but
yes.
He's got Brogdon and Harrell on here and two solid plays. I mean, obviously Harrell with the Clippers, I would have thought of him, but it's not a good example today. But sometimes I'll look on there and I'll see someone I hadn't even thought about, and then that's a great tournament play.
Yeah, and on a 12-game slate, it's really easy to find those guys that you say, wow, I hadn't even considered that guy. And Brogdon would certainly be one of those guys, even though the price on FanDuel is depressed. We'll get to that here in just a little bit. Also, Tony, have you been riding with the Sharp Side streak? Have you been running with the Sharp Side app? Because I know I have, and my streak is up to 2. In fact, it's especially impressive because that 2-win streak, that dates all the way back 10 months. I hadn't been doing it. I got back on there last night. My first part of the streak was a Dwayne Wade over on points, and he hasn't played basketball in 10 months, so
I like it.
How long it's been.
That'll make it even sweeter when you get this run on top.
Well, it's beautiful. Yesterday, I had the under on 6.5 rebounds for Dwight Powell. He got hurt. Give me the giblets. I'm all right with that.
That's how it's done. I like that.
Yeah. So today, I don't know. I'm not going to tell my lock bet yet. I'm going to hold off on the lock bet. How's your streak looking? Are you streaking at all?
So I was just like you. Like I did a ton of it earlier in the year, messed around with it, but I haven't done it in a little while. I seen our new promotion where you get You get
money, baby.
Yeah, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but like, what is it, 10 to 15, you get $20, 15 to 20, you get $100, stuff like that. It makes me want to get in there. So I fired last night. I wasn't as successful as you, though. I picked.
You got to take the under on guys that get hurt.
Yeah, I wish I did that, but I got a loss, so I got to bounce back tonight.
All right, and by the way, the payouts. This is really sick. You get first 0 through 5 picks, you don't get anything. So I ain't making anything right now. But then you start building up that streak. Once you get that 5th win, 5th through 10, you're getting $10 per. 10 through 15, 20, 15 through 20, 50. And if you somehow make it up to 21 picks in a row, they're going to give you $100 in your FanDuel account per correct pick. I mean, you can win up to $1,400 just for free. I mean, that costs absolutely nothing. And, it's funny because I mentioned that I hadn't been on the app in a while. So I get on there last night, I'm playing around, and I'm swiping here. And I'm like, this is easy. For us married guys, this is the closest to Tinder we get. You swipe to the left, swipe to the right, and that's that. So, yeah, guys, make sure you check out that Sharp Side app because who doesn't like free money? Free money is a beautiful, beautiful thing. You know what else is a beautiful thing, Tony? I got to read the names here of some of these guys who who are just hollering. We got new RotoGrinders guys rocking the RotoGrinders badge, and this is who we've got. We've got Niner Fan 1964. You're having a pretty good week. We've got Tip of the Spear, and unfortunately, it's not just the Tip of the Spear because that would be an appropriate name for the afternoon wood. We got CXT7. We got Cake Boss, somebody that I can relate to. We got Barnes 0020 and Mason Meth 94. I don't know, Tony. My favorite name is Tip of the Spear. I don't think
that's undebatable. Like some of the names when we read these out are just amazing.
Yeah, we were talking before the show. Dean once had to read BBC Guy.
I think I was on that show with him. I think.
Yeah, there's like 85% of our audience know why that's funny, and the other 15 are going, I don't understand. Feel free to Google it. Just Google BBC Guy. What could possibly go wrong? All right, Tony, let's talk about this slate. We've got 12 games. As far as I'm concerned, there are a few games we can cross off, and of course, there are a few games we can really, really target. And let's go ahead and talk about the first game that we're going to be targeting. We're going to be bouncing a lot here. I'm going to show you some of the premium tools on RotoGrinders. We're going to build some lineups on FanDuel and Draftkings, talk about our favorite plays. But I think anytime you're talking about this slate, you have to start with this Clippers-Atlanta Hawks game. Why? Because, well, everybody's out for the Clippers. There's no Paul George. There's no Kawhi Leonard. There's no, who am I forgetting? Patrick Beverley. All those dudes are out, which means Lou Williams, he's 6.3K over on FanDuel. And my question to you is, Tony, is it possible to fade Lou Williams tonight? Because I don't think it is.
Yeah, I don't see it. I mean, the only way he doesn't get there is if it's a total blowout, probably the other way. Like Atlanta would have to just pound this team, and then I think the Clippers are going to play a ton of guys. I mean, what do they got? 2, 4, 6, like 10 guys still. So I think they'll play a ton of guys, but Lou and Harrell are 1,000,000% going to do the heavy lifting for them. And they're still, the craziest part is, where's my updated lines here? They're still favored by like 4, I think, in this game.
I think Atlanta's winning this game, by the way.
It's crazy. I would think that normally, but like it blows my mind that how are they still favored?
I mean, because it's Atlanta. That's why. Because
they're playing a shell team, though.
I mean, look, this is a team that's going to start. Just listen to the starting lineup, all right? Lou Williams, Landry Shamet, Mo Harkless, Patrick Patterson, Ivica Zubac. That team sucks. That team especially sucks defensively. Like, I don't know how Atlanta – like, I love the over in this game. I almost took the over in this game as my bet of the day, but I got one guy who I love even more. I can't play him in DFS, so I had to pick him in the sharp side. But how does this game not shoot out? This Clippers team isn't going to play defense. This Hawks team has never played defense. Tony, how do you not load up on this game?
It's hard not to, and this is honestly where I get myself in trouble in NBA. It's always been my weakness. I see games like this, and I just love it, and I end up playing too many guys. Like, it's hard for me to break it down, I think. Like, I look at the Atlanta side, and I want to play 2 or 3 of these guys. I look at the Clippers side, I want to play 3 or 4 of these guys. And I think I get in trouble, though. I think I play too many because I always end up getting one total bust. And obviously you're not going to win a tournament on a 12-game slate with this much value. with a total bust. So I still need to plug that hole in my game. Like, I feel like I played too many people, but it's such a good game. How do you not?
Okay, so we were talking about the FanDuel pricing, and if you just sort by point per dollar, all right? And again, this is a very simplistic way to look at it. But you see right here, you've got Lou Will and you've got Montrezl Harrell, two of the guys that are going to be as chalky as it gets on the slate, both projected to be 7X on this slate. Tony, if I'm playing one lineup, I'm starting with. If I'm playing 20 lineups, I'm probably starting them with both these guys. It would probably have to be, honestly, get for me to 50 lineups before I'm considering not playing these guys. The problem is, and you say this on the Clippers, I want to play 3 or 4. I don't know if we need to play anybody other than these two, but are these two guys the first guy in whatever lineup you build?
Yeah, I really don't know how you get away from them. I mean, they're not expensive. They're against Atlanta, which is one of the best matchups. They're both incredible. The only reason they don't have bigger numbers normally is just obviously they're playing behind 2 studs, 2 mega studs, and Beverly. So all 3 of those guys are gone. Yeah, I can't fade them. I mean, the only way you're fading them is if you're just throwing a total dart. I mean, I got 150 teams in that $20 on DraftKings. Like, I'm just going to lock them in, take my chances, and I mean, they're going to be super high. I mean,
yeah.
This only has Harrell at 38% on DK.
I'll take the over.
So will I. Like, even say these guys were 50. That's just way too low. We talk about this a lot, and I know people freak out about the ownerships in NBA, but even at like 70%, I think you're getting an edge. I mean, because 30% say they're both 70. What does that mean? That together they're what, 60? Like that?
Yeah, 70. You're probably looking at like half the teams, probably a little less than half with both of them. And the thing is, like, if a guy is 70%, especially in NBA, which is the most predictable sport out there, I got news for you guys. Listen, for you guys who say, I'm not going to play a chalky Lou Williams. I'm not going to play a chalky Montrezl Harrell. Guess what? They're good plays. This, as we say every time, does not have to be rocket science. So I'm looking at a guy like Lou Will and Montrezl Harrell. You see DraftKings, you still got almost $6K per spot to spin. If you lock those two guys. FanDuel, you still got almost $7K per spot to spin. Tony, I'm just playing the guys. And on the Atlanta side, we're still waiting on news. And one of the big pieces of news that we're waiting on is what's going to happen with Trae Young, because he's currently questionable. I've seen some people in the chat, speculate that he's going to be out. We don't know what's happening. Where's Trae? Hold on. Is Trae? Oh, there he is. Oh, he's just projected down here at 4.7x. Okay. By the way, there's no way Trae Young's 8% tonight. Can we just talk about that? Like, I know that on FanDuel, you can only play 2-point guards, but isn't everybody going to play Lou and Montrezl Harrell and say, I should probably get some Trae Young on the other side as well? Isn't that something that everybody's going to do? Or am I overthinking it? Because
I think it's just such a massive slate where everybody's underpriced that I don't think anyone outside of the Clippers guys and maybe like Gordon Hayward is going to be super, super high owned. I don't think. Like, looking at the ownerships, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like the Boston guys and the Clippers, besides them, I don't think so. Like, I love Trae, but he's got to play, right? Do people think he's going to sit?
Yeah, I mean, some people think he's going to sit. That game starts 30 minutes after lineup lock. So I don't know if you're going to get that news before lineup lock with the way the NBA is now. I don't think any of us know. It's just really frustrating. But if I'm playing Lou and Harrell, and I've been talking about attacking this game, it's the second highest total on the board. If this game stays close, where the production is going to go, especially on the Atlanta side. It's going to go to Trae. It's going to go to John Collins. And it might, you could filter some out to a guy like Kevin Huerter or even like DeAndre Hunter or something. Jeff Teague might be a thing today. But to me, man, like, I want guys on both sides of this game.
Yeah. What are we going to do if Trae sits is the big question. Like,
Jeff Teague chalk day, baby.
And all these. So, again, I just talked about my hole. Like, it's my weakness. If Trae Young sits, I just don't know how I don't play a bunch of these guys. Like, I really don't. I mean, like, Porter, Collins, even Alex Len these guys just, I don't know how I'm not going to play them if Trae sat.
All right, I'm running the old Court IQ because that's a nice little tool we have over on RotoGrinders. And what happens when Trae Young is off the floor? Jabari's not playing minutes right now, is he?
No.
Okay, so here, I'm going to go back to this. I got to move some stuff around on the old screenshot. And I'm also going to take off Jabari Parker. Now, this is going to limit the sample size, but I just want to kind of show what could happen because we've said that these guys are all going to get bumps. You see a lot of the usage. Oh, my God, Cam Reddish gets usage. That's terrifying. John Collins gets plenty of usage. Jeff Teague, he's only seen 26 minutes, but I actually think 28% usage is pretty reasonable.
I mean, he's 4K. And they just traded for him.
Is he really 4K?
On DK, I don't have his DK prior, his FanDuel pricing up. But
okay, if Jeff Teague is 4K over on DraftKings, like Tony.
That's what I mean. Like it's just there's no way you can fade that. It's another one it's not like he's in the same situation he was in Minnesota either. Like if Trae Young's out, they're going to give this dude minutes. I mean, he could play. I don't know. He could play 30 minutes if Trae's out. I mean, we just don't know, but I think he would, and I think these young guys would get a bunch of minutes too. So, I
think Reddish is interesting, and that's one of those things where if you look at court IQ, you can kind of see, all right, maybe I wasn't seeing that, but Reddish without those two guys is a 0.9 point per minute guy. Did
you see that game last week? I forget who they were playing. Like this dude had like the game of his life.
Cam Reddish. Dude, he was like this,
Spurs.
He was like this in college too, where he would just disappear for a few games and then just go bonkers. That's how he was at Duke. But like
he was 5 for 7 threes. He had 5 boards, 4 assists, 4 steals. Like he had just the game of his life.
Okay, so let's say, and again, we don't have this news. Let's say Trae is out. All right, just kind of playing with what Linus would look like here. We're definitely playing Jeff Teague. We're definitely playing. I think Cam Reddish, honestly.
You're definitely playing three Hawks if Trae's out.
And you're playing John Collins, all right? All of a sudden, guys, by the way, look, you've got on FanDuel a point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center, just in that one game. And I don't think you need anybody else on the Clippers. I don't necessarily feel like I have to do that. Do you think you need a third Clippers guy?
No, because they have all the usage, but I do think they're really good plays, like especially Shamet, like he's been like the starter for the last stretch. He's going to be the third scorer, and Zubac too. Like Zubac plays similar to Harrell, so I don't think they correlate great. But he's just so cheap that I don't know. These guys aren't locks, but they're guys I think you need to filter in. Like if you're doing 150 or 20 or 10 or don't just play the two guys. Like maybe filter one more here and there, but I wouldn't go crazy either.
Shamet sucks.
I think he sucks, but he's usually the fifth option. Like he's going to be
big bump. Oh man, I mean the thing is, if you're playing Jeff Teague, and we're talking about this, if Trae Young were to be ruled out, all right. If Trae Young's in, this is all moot. Just move on from this discussion. But let's look at some other point guards, all right? Because if we're fading Jeff Teague and then we pay down for Landry Shamet, we're missing the likes of Russell Westbrook, Ben Simmons. So I don't love Ben Simmons today. Kemba Walker, and obviously with no Jaylen Brown there for Boston, Walker's a little bit more interesting. Who are some of these other point guards that you're looking at? Because obviously a 12-game slate, every position is going to be loaded, but point guard always feels like if you miss on this position, you're completely screwed.
Yeah, I agree. Like it's just so loaded. And the hard part of the night too now is, so we got all the value we could need. I mean, even the Clippers guys are value to save. I mean, they're just way too cheap. But now you got like Dedmon starting. He's 31. He's 31 on DK. Like you have to play him on DK at 3,100. And then on FanDuel, it's a little more complicated just because Harrell's a center, right, on FanDuel.
Yeah, Montrezl is a center on FanDuel. And it's always weird when you want to lock in a center because then, you're missing out on the entire rest of the entire position. And center on FanDuel is loaded, especially tonight, because obviously Harrell stands above, everybody. But then you look at a guy like, by the way, Steven Adams, questionable. If he were to miss tonight, I've got a really sneaky guy. I kind of love Gallinari if he misses this game, but we'll talk about that later. Clint Capella's in a fine spot tonight. Ivica Zubac, you mentioned him. If something were to happen that Harrell got in foul trouble, Zubac would be playing 25 minutes here and be 100% be on the winner.
I think that's a good point too. Like you were the original master of the 150 teams. Like I think a rule, like you could put in a rule like that. Maybe not lock Harrell. Go like 80% plus of Harrell. Maybe 10 to 20% Zubac, but don't let him play on the same. Oh, you can't on FanDuel, so it doesn't matter. But even on DK, use that rule just in case Harrell gets in foul trouble, or who knows, he rolls an ankle and Chalk Harrell gets hurt, and then you got Zubac on every team that you don't have Harrell.
Yeah, and even a guy like Karl Anthony Towns tonight, who, by the way, Karl Anthony Towns is my lock of the day on the Sharp Side app because I've got the over on 23.5 points. Against the Chicago Bulls, Tony, how is that not just a lock button for Karl Anthony Towns?
That's why I think you can take advantage on the Sharp Side app where these props, if you lock in on the props, I think you can skin them pretty good because there's so many. Like tonight, there's 12 NBA games. All the players, there's going to be some super soft lines out there that you can get them for. And not that it's a lock, but it's easier than picking winners and losers with the games. I mean, they could go either way. So I think you can get a big edge on that. But, yeah, Towns is great. This is my only gripe with FanDuel is, man, can we add one more spot?
Like a little utility spot?
Just one. Not like DK where everyone's eligible to a million spots. Give us one spot so we could play. Or just go 2 centers. I'd be fine with that too, just 2 centers. And I know on the really short slates you'd be screwed, so maybe it wouldn't work. But it sucks when you can only play. Like Harrell is still a lock for me tonight. So if I'm playing 150 teams, it makes it tough because I can't play any of these other guys.
You can't play Towns. You can't. Andre Drummond is going to be guarded by Dwayne Dedmon and the elites. How do you not like Drummond?
Play him,
he's a DraftKings you can play.
Yeah.
And there's enough value on DraftKings. You mentioned Dedmon, obviously the Atlanta guys, obviously the Clipper guys. There's enough value over on DraftKings where you play on FanDuel, though. You're kind of pigeonholed in. I like the idea of adding a utility spot over there on FanDuel. You were talking about getting an edge by kind of playing either Harrell or Zubac in every team. Another way you can get an edge, if you click the like button and we get 150 likes, guys, you're going to be getting free crunch time today. So, or 250. I'm sorry, 250. Look at the producer just in my ear. He's the bean counter. So no, we need 250. All right, fine. We'll do 250, but click that like button because if we get up to 250 likes, what is going to happen? You are going to get to watch Crunch Time for free tonight with JSU, with Meansy, with Kevin Roth, and guys on a 12-game slate where we're waiting on a bunch of news. That is invaluable. We were talking before the show, Tony, and I'm just going to veer off topic here because it's my show and I can do that. We were talking about the best basketball player at RotoGrinders. A lot of talk privately with the RotoGrinders crew today about the basketball game that's coming up next week. Tony, you're not allowed to pick yourself. All right? Who's the best basketball player at RotoGrinders? I don't think it's close, by the way.
You don't think it's close?
Nope.
I mean, I don't know, all the random people that said they're coming. I haven't seen everyone play, but of the people that played last year, I mean, it was clearly JSU, as far as just game.
Do you not remember 2 years ago what Kevin Roth did to everybody?
Nothing.
Are you kidding me?
Kevin Roth is soft.
Oh.
What did he do? He didn't even score. Just because
he's talking about? He's scored every play.
He's got 24-inch pythons. That doesn't. I mean, it's not a wrestling match.
Oh, Devin, I want you to go ahead and clip that part that says Kevin Roth is soft.
Yeah, he's soft. Roth, you're soft.
Oh my goodness, you have straight up lost it. You're gonna take,
when did he get buckets? He never got no buckets.
When we were at the gym, he got buckets every single time.
No one guarding him. You were watching his hype video where he was dribbling through his legs and all that nonsense.
Look, are we really going to talk about hype videos right now?
Tony, you're really swinging today.
Yeah, Tony, look at the big T. He's over there I'm telling you, make sure. Look, Kyle ain't the best basketball player. Get the bleep out of here, guys. But yeah, I'll tell you what. We'll have JSU versus Roth.
I would bet so much on JSU. JSU would destroy Roth.
Baby doll! You get a baby doll for that.
Roth has no game.
What? You have lost it. You have straight up.
The best part is right now we're going to have them fighting on the next show about it.
We got it.
We're talking about it. I love it.
Hey guys, again, if you want to watch them fight on the next show, the 250 likes. You're gonna get
how much can I wager? There's no way Roth can beat JSU.
He's got 6 inches on him.
He's got no game. He's got a broke Lonzo Ball jump shot. I mean, what's he going to do with the lefty?
We're going to go with the Lonzo stuff again. Really?
I think he's even a lefty, isn't he? He's like a lefty Lonzo.
He's got to shoot better than Harden's been shooting lately. That's for
Ooh, I think he can beat Harden.
Harden's been rough
Did you
lately.
see that picture where it said it looks like tour dates?
He was
so
like
good.
2 of 18, 3 of 17, and the musician's like, looks like our tour dates. It's just freaking
It's
hilarious.
just so good because it looks exactly like that.
Okay, well, let's talk about Harden tonight, okay? Because we've got value on this slate, and it's going to be even more value if Trae Young is ruled out. Harden doesn't pop as a great point per dollar play. The match against Denver, not great, though with Gary Harris out, I think it's a little bit better for Harden. What do we do with Harden tonight? Because he's not going to be owned. He's going to be under 15% on both sides. And anytime I see a guy like James Harden who can go for 80 any given night, I want to play him. And people have been making fun of his shooting. I mean, look at these game logs over on FanDuel. 50, 48, 37, 59, 53. The dude's still putting up fine fantasy games. And to me alone, James Harden on a 12-game slate is really attractive. Are you interested at all in Harden?
Yeah, so like we need to we have to turn in our picks for the sharp side thing, and mine tonight is Houston. I just think I've said this for like 2 or 3 years now. Nuggets are my team, but their worst matchup is against Houston because Jokic has to guard this high screen and roll. Capella just destroys him coming up and setting the screen off Harden. They run the screen and roll. So I always love Harden and Capella against the Nuggets. Tonight, the Nuggets' whole team's out. So I think Harden eats tonight. I love it. I love how he fits, too. I mean, I think he's my third favorite play of the slate behind the 2 Clippers guys just because of how he fits. I know it's risky because Houston is in shambles right now, and they've looked terrible. He's looked terrible. But this is a get-right spot, and this is a huge game for both teams. I think Houston blows them out. I think Harden goes off.
Well, if Harden's going to go off, you're going to need some value. And luckily for those of you who are looking for value, you just got it because Trae Young was just ruled out. So we were talking about some of this value on Atlanta. Jeff Teague is chalk tonight. He's 4K over on DraftKings. I don't know, Tony, over under 99.5% is the correct amount of Jeff Teague to play.
It just makes it – I know that it sounds like we're like being down on it, and I don't like to complain about slates too, but I feel like I've always been confident on these slates, but then I lock in all these guys, and I just feel like I might be doing it wrong. I don't know. Like, I think he's a lock, but
I think there are 3 guys you can lock, all right? Teague, Lou, and Clippers center, either Harrell
and they're
or –
just so blatant locks. Like,
yes. Dude,
I don't know how you don't play them.
Okay, and then, you don't have to lock 5 guys. I know some people do that. I'm even not that nuts. But now all of a sudden you're looking at Jeff Teague, 4K over on DraftKings, 4,600 over on FanDuel. I like Cam Reddish quite a bit in this spot. We saw, when we pull up the court IQ right here, Cam Reddish, the usage without Jabari and Trae Young on the floor, 24%. And that is up from, hold on, where is it? Yeah, 6% up from his average. He's also plus 0.2 point per minutes out there, and he's going to see 30 minutes. That's going to be an extra 6, maybe even more points when he's out there. I think we can safely project Reddish for 25 fantasy points, and he's got upside in the higher 30s. And his price tag, how much is he over on DraftKings? He's 4,500. I don't like that price tag as much because we're going to have some like 3K guys over there. But on FanDuel, where he's 4,200 and he fits in a position where I think it's perfectly reasonable to play him, I like Reddish a lot. Like, if I'm looking at FanDuel, man, it's weird just to have 5 guys that I want a ton of, but here we are because, Tony, now all of a sudden you talk about stacking games, and you and I always say this, all right? I want just to be overweight on the good plays.
Yeah.
We have a game here with a 238.
It's so good, man. This is my problem. Talk me off it like it's just.
No, I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to talk you off the good play.
The problem is it's a 12-game slate. Other people are going to go off too. It's so annoying to me.
That's fine. Well, this is what you do. And you're multi-entering. And hey, I'm here for you, buddy. I know what's going on. I know your heart is hurting right now. Luckily, Big Daddy Crane's here for you. All right.
These Atlanta guys are so freaking good.
So mix them in. You play Trey, or you play Collins, you play Reddish, and you play Teague. I think Collins might be a lock button in this spot because, newsflash, Ivica Zubac and Patrick Patterson are not going to be guarding John Collins. Collins is going for 50 tonight. Like, it's just going to happen. I'd lock in Lou, Collins, and one of the Clipper centers from this game, and I would have and probably Teague, and I would have a lot of Reddish, mix in some Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter. Like, even somebody like Alex Lynn, I think you can mix in. And on these Clipper guys, just, kind of mix and match. I know you mentioned Landry Shamet. I think you can play with him a little bit. Patrick Patterson, no thanks. Mo Harkless, though. Even somebody like Michael Green, we've seen some upside with, or Rodney Magruder. Like, you mix and match these guys, but get your core in there. You play Lou, you play a Clipper center, you play Collins, and you play Teague, and move on from there. Tony, it's a don't get cute spot. It's a 4-point spread. This game has all the value. It's the second highest total on the slate. Don't make this rocket science, man.
Yeah, and so we talked about the spread earlier. That was with Teague in. Now it's even this blows my mind, seriously, that the Clippers, as of right this second, are 5-point favorites without their top 3 guys and 2 of their superstars on the road. I think this game's good, though. I think they score a ton of points. Without Trey, though, I kind of do like the under now.
Okay.
I think because the total bounced up even higher because there's just garbage out there. Like, teams are going to score. But
how is that possible? Trey's terrible defensively. How is it possible that it bounced higher?
Just because, the worse you get with players, the worse. I think it's going to go under, though, just because you get enough of these. Like, these Clippers guys are going to play hard, and they're going to play the right way. They're not going to – they're well coached. Like, Doc Rivers is a good coach. These guys are all professionals. They're going to play hard. But – man, the total is so high that I think you can still take the under.
Well, the only total on this slate that's bigger is the Spurs and the Pelicans. 236.5-point total. The Pelicans are 3.5-point favorites at home. And Zion Williamson, okay, I've heard some people talking about him. He's 5K over on DraftKings, 4.5K over on FanDuel. Nobody knows how many minutes he's going to play. We've got him projected at 18 right now. At 18 minutes, he's probably a little below average play. If he gets up to 23 or 24 minutes, though, Tony, we're looking at a phenomenal value. So let's kind of just talk about this game because all the ownership is going to be in this Clippers-Hawks game. You can see it right here. A ton of ownership. And by the way, this Jeff Teague ownership at 9%, you can add 2 digits to it. It's going to be 109%. Everybody's playing Jeff Teague. John Collins.
Especially on DK where he's 4K.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's been, we knew he was going to start, but he's officially been named the starter. So, you always want to see that at least.
Yeah, but I don't see a lot of ownership in this Pelicans game, and we've got Zion. We're not really sure what's up there. Derek Favors and Jahlil Okafor, they were both ruled in. Right now, J.J. Redick is questionable. We don't know what's up with that. But let's kind of talk about this game because we always like to target these big games that aren't going to – these big total games that aren't going to be owned. That's what we're seeing right here. What do you think about this game in general?
Yeah, and the Spurs have been kind of sneaky good fantasy-wise for a while now. They put up good points. They don't really play defense. They've quietly been a good fantasy team, and they play New Orleans, who's maybe the best fantasy team. You got a very similar total to the chalk game. But, God, it's where I struggle. I admit I struggle. I just have a hard time playing these guys over that other game, but everyone's going to. So I like DeJounte Murray for sure. He's been getting more and more work. I don't know about the rest, though. How do I play DeRozan at over 8K instead of, John Collins for 1,000 less?
I'm not because I'm playing FanDuel and my shooting guard position is spoken for with Harden and Lou. So I'm not going to do that.
You have to consider a guy like Hoarder, too. You have to. You can't – if you're playing multiple teams, you have to play a Hoarder.
Yeah, I agree. That's the thing we talk about with this Atlanta side. Just get pieces. I'm going to play some Reddish. I might even play some DeAndre Hunter.
I think Hoarder is an even better play than Teague. Not better. I'm talking turning wide. Obviously, Teague's a lock. We both agree on that. I'm speaking I think he could outscore Teague by a number that breaks the slate. I think Hoarder could get 50. That he's got that kind of upside.
Yes, I agree. And we've seen it before with Kevin Hoarder. Yeah. The problem is on FanDuel, it's a position scarcity thing. That's why I struggle to play him on FanDuel because I like Harden.
And it sucks because you're playing Lou, obviously. So you only got the one spot.
Well, and we haven't even talked here. I'm just going to pull up the FanDuel pricing at shooting guard because it's silly. All right, we haven't even talked Buddy Hield, whose price dropped $200 after we went for 50. Donovan Mitchell, who FanDuel is just refusing to price.
I like it because I freaking hate Donovan Mitchell. He's sucked all year, and people act like he's way better than he is. I want him to keep him nice and cheap. Like, look at his freaking numbers.
I agree he's not that good. And now that Mike Conley's returned, I think he's
that was my point too. Like he's in. So the other night, the last 2 games, he was like 6,500 or something on there, and he just you knew Conley was coming back, and he was mega chalk both games, and he went for 30 and 37, which or whatever, I don't know. Oh, this might be DK stuff.
It's DK. He went for 28 and 38. Neither score killed him.
And it's kind of like that's how I feel like he's been all year. Sure, he's a decent play. He's a good cash play because his floor. But on a slate like this on FanDuel, now I'm talking FanDuel, where you got Lou, who's a lock. You got Hoarder, who is close to a lock for me and Harden. Like, this is where I like FanDuel, though. This is where I think I can get an edge because I'm literally wiping out the position just like I would games on normal slate. Like, I'm just going to play 2 of those 3 guys. I'm not playing anyone else. I'm not playing Donovan Mitchell, even though Donovan Mitchell is a great play. Cash people are going to be all over Mitchell tonight. People are going to play Lou. I guarantee you.
And I think
Hoop will have those 2.
I think that's fine because there's very little downside with Mitchell. I'm just not sure the upside.
I agree. And, like, I'd rather have Hoarder for 1K cheaper than Mitchell. I'll take my chances.
Yeah. By the way, the chat wants to know why you call him Kevin Hoarder instead of Hoyter.
Hoarder.
There you go. It's like you're coughing up a hairball or something. Chris Kirkwood is saying he can beat the crap out of me in ping pong, and I don't have.
We took our talents to ping pong now.
I mean, if we're talking,
where's he talking at? Where do I see his trash talk?
He's in the old YouTube chat. That's where YouTube chat. We got Kyle Murray in there. He's over there saying that he is the best.
Oh, he was the one making fun of Hoarder too.
Yeah. By the way, you've hung out with Kyle. I've never hung out with him. Is there any chance that he is the best basketball player at RotoGrinders?
I mean, we had a good old time hanging out at a few establishments, but I don't know about basketball. His golf game's terrible. If that helps anything.
Okay,
he was not good on the golf course.
We can gamble on the course, but if he's got a slice, he and I can go hang out.
His cornhole game was awful too, so I don't know about his basketball might struggle too.
All right, guys, I want to remind you guys, 250 likes, you're going to get Crunch Time for free tonight. So if you're on YouTube, click that damn thumbs up button and like us. Because if you do, you're going to get Crunch Time for free, which means that you're going to have Kevin Roth, Andy Means, and JSU leading you up to lock. And on a night like this, where we're still waiting on news, on a night like this, where there are 12 games, it's really important to get that crunch time. And it's normally a free product. If you want to see what the RotoGrinders Premium is all about, it's normally a premium product. So if you want to see what RotoGrinders Premium is all about, click that like button, get it up to 250 likes, and you're going to get crunch time for free tonight. And a night like this is the night you want it for free, I promise you, because it's going to be some news to be had. The chat is done talking about this slate, by the way. The chat only wants to talk about the basketball game.
Wait till next week when we get closer and we get some. I mean, we're getting close to like getting some tentative teams. They were talking about picking teams in there earlier today, and it was like, I don't think you can pick them because, for one, there's going to be a few no-shows. There always is. So, like, if you have the teams and 2 dudes no-show and 2 extras come, like, how do you break it down? You could stack the team by doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cam and Cal are just going to be like, oh yeah, well this team seems fair, and it's going to be like Juwan Howard or something on their team, something stupid, like it's fine. Chris Webber isn't doing anything this week. Let's come play basketball with us. He played a little bit of ball. It's what it's going to be. I'm telling you, these teams are going to be stacked against us, Tony. I wanted the 3-on-3. Can you talk to me? Who are these people in there that said that, well, 3-on-3 is more exhausting than 5-on-5?
3-on-3 is weak, though.
Yeah, that's why I want it. I have a shot. Dude.
There was a few people that wanted the 3-on-3 with you.
I'm right here, buddy. We'll play 3-on-3 it'll be, I don't know. It's the big boy side of the court, I suppose. All right. We were talking about the shooting guard position. Look, if Marcus Smart hits 11 threes again, I'm just going to lose. I'm not playing Marcus Smart.
He made 11 threes? I don't think I even saw that.
Yeah, dude, here. Take a look at this. When he was chalk, he was like 60% owned.
I knew he made a ton, but I didn't know he made 11.
11 of 22. He took 22 three-pointers. Marcus Smart. He has not taken 22 threes in a single practice all year, and yet here he was chucking up 22 in a game, making 11 of them, and just screwing everybody that faded him. He went for 66 FanDuel points. I suppose – oh, no. I'm going to start to talk myself into Marcus Smart.
The problem is, like, on FanDuel, it shows you how deep the slate is. Like, you can definitely play them on DK, but, like, FanDuel, it's just so deep that I don't know. It's a huge slate. Like, I think people are going to do that, which is going to get Lou lower than he should be. It's going to get Hoarder's going to be the guy.
Tony, we got
right that time.
No, but it doesn't matter because we've got more news because Steven Adams was just ruled out.
Everybody, it's going to happen. You led the show with it. Like, on 12-game slates with all this info.
Guys.
I do agree, though. Like, if you can adjust to news quickly, the edge does go through the roof because there's going to be a ton.
Yeah, you guys need to be clicking that like button because this is a slate where you're going to need that free crunch time. If you're not a RotoGrinders premium user, there is no reason for you not to be clicking the like button on YouTube right now. You're going to get crunch time for free. And people said, oh, it's Nerlens Noel season. Guess what? Nerlens Noel isn't in either. So we're going to
be out?
Yeah, Noel's been out, hasn't he? Am I missing something?
He's back, I think.
Hold on. Am I missing something? Because I could have sworn Nerlens Noel.
I think he's back.
Oh, he's questionable. All right.
I think he's in, though. I'm pretty sure.
No. Oh, man. God.
I wish I could go along, but I think he's in.
All right. So Nerlens Noel might be a lock on this slate, too.
The problem is, so now we're getting deep now where we're working our way up to 5 or 6 locks where it's like eventually we're going to start. This is what happens, though. And then all of a sudden, the initial locks, Lou and Trez, all of a sudden they start ticking down just a little lower and lower. It
happens every time. Every time.
It's just like they're still the same great plays they were, but more stuff keeps opening. And it's going to be a crazy night, which, again, like on DK, you better be ready to sit there for a long time after lock because and think about it, with these early games, the Clippers in Atlanta is 30 minutes after lock. This OKC game's the early, right out of the chute. You got Sacramento with Deadman early. You got a lot of early. You got Boston early. So you got a ton of these best plays are early to where people could lock themselves in, and you never know what's going to happen late. Like, I don't think there's going to be that many late plays, really. No,
and, somebody asked in the chat earlier, is this a slate where you can fade the 7 p.m. games? And I don't think so.
You definitely can't fade the 7 and 7:30s. Like, no. Maybe you can fade the 7.
The 7s are okay. Philadelphia, Toronto, I genuinely don't care about the game. Sacramento and Detroit, if you play Deadman, I get it. I think you can get by without doing that. OKC, Orlando, now that's a different story because we were talking about Nerlens Noel. Yeah, it's funny. People say, get on your burners and click the like button. I'm telling you guys, you need to click the damn like button on this one. This is an important slate to have at something like Crunch Time. But
we were talking about how hard it is to do this show. Like, imagine how hard it is to do Crunch Time on this, leading up to the 30 minutes.
I don't know how JSU does it because the dude has like more than one lineup.
He plays 3 teams, which is
I would
hard.
struggle with 3.
You can do. I mean, when you get down to 1 to 3, like it's pretty. I mean, it's different than having the 150 where you got to change your.
Yeah, that's obviously true. Did I ever tell you about the first time I tried to multi-enter when I was doing XM?
I can only imagine. I've been there with some crazy things.
I ended up with a 60% of a dude who was ruled out 2 hours earlier.
Like, it happens.
It was awful, man. I'm just staring at it, and it was one of those 2-hour shows. So like I had to just stay on air for an extra hour, just like, gritting my teeth, pretending like I wanted to be there. All right, we're talking about Nerlens Noel now without Steven Adams. You see right here, he 1.14 point per minute guy. So if we pull up FanDuel, let's go to power forward. Let's find Nerlens Noel. All right, let's just reset his minutes to 1.14. And how many minutes do you think we give Noel right now? Let's click on his name. How many minutes did he get? He got 21 minutes, 19. I'm going to give him 21, 22 minutes. All right, you give him 21 minutes, all of a sudden he's a 6X player. And he's got a ton of upside. Now, I want to point out, Tony, you were talking a little bit before about, there's always some random dude that goes off that I don't have. Nikola Vukovic could be that guy tonight.
Yeah.
Without Steven Adams there, Nerlens Noel is one of those guys that gets blocks but isn't the best defender. I could definitely see Vooch crushing in this spot. Noel is a guy that, if you're playing, I like him in tournaments. Now that I know he's in the lineup, he's just somebody that I think you play. And then all of a sudden, he's right up here with some of the top plays. Power forward, another one of these spots that's loaded. You get Michael Porter, who I know you love. Jeremy Grant, who's somebody that is never owned enough, and I keep playing him, and I keep it being happy that I play him. Bielitsa, he's 5'4", going to get a ton of minutes today. Tatum, of course, without Jaylen Brown there. A lot of power forwards. We already talked about John Collins. So what are you doing at the power forward position? Because there are a ton of guys you can go.
Yeah, for me at the top right now, it's got to be Collins just because we already talked about it, but how good that spot is. And power forward is one of the spots, though, where it's going to be one of the few spots, maybe the only spot, just looking position by position, where it is a little open to where you can spread around a little bit and try to get a little different at the power forward, depending on the salary. I mean, you got a guy like Jeremy Grant that I talked about how much I like Houston. Jeremy Grant's one of the guys that can help out, though, where you got Plumlee out. You got have they officially ruled Plumlee out?
I believe so. But then again, I don't know anything apparently because I thought Noel was out. So
I'm pretty sure he's out for sure, which means
Plumlee's
he's only
out.
4,200 on there, and they need him to guard this high screen and roll. I mean, Denver, like I said, this game is huge for Denver. I don't love them in this matchup, but they have no dudes. Like, half their team's out. So I think you can play these guys, and they're all on FanDuel. Like, you got Monte at 4K, Jeremy Grant 42. You got Porter Jr. somehow got the price doc, 5,300. I mean, these guys are good play. The only guy I don't think you can play for sure is Jokic. Like,
you can't play the Joker here, and Capella should crush him too. We talked about John Collins here. I feel like power forward is going to be where I really pay attention to the ownership, because I was just talking about Nerlens Noel and how much I like him. He's going to be chalky, and I think Jeremy Grant's going to be low owned. And like you said, without Plumlee there, but we're seeing right here Jeremy Grant projected at 34 minutes. I know I said no.
Get him too.
Yeah, and you can do it, and he's going to have a fraction of the ownership as these other guys. I like the elites. I like Porter. I like Tatum. Of course I do. But to me, a low owned Jeremy Grant is really interesting. And why don't people like Jeremy Grant? Can you answer that for me?
I think it's just one of those things that he doesn't ever have a ton of usage, but he does a lot of stuff. And like tonight, I mean, he's legitimately their second or third option. I'm probably third option most times on the court. So, and he's a perfect pivot off a guy like Noel. I mean, you have to decide your locks tonight. I'm still on the Clippers game for my 3 or 4 locks. I love Noel and I love some of these other guys, but you can't just, I mean, if you're playing a ton of teams, sure, if you're playing 2 or 3 teams, it's easy just to lock them all and make a little 2v2 or 3v3 type thing. But if you're playing a bunch, like, you got to spread around a little bit. And that's a great pivot, I think, going from a guy like Noel, who's going to be – the numbers haven't updated here for me yet if I hit refresh. But
I bet he's going to be about 24, 25%.
And he's going to be way higher than Grant, and they're basically the same price. So I think it's a nice little pivot.
Yep. All right, guys, we got up to 170 likes. We need 80 more if you're going to get that free crunch time. And if you don't get it, I've told you guys before, if you get 248, guess what? You ain't getting nothing. I'm hardcore. You get nothing.
We got to get it.
Yeah, so you get 12 minutes to get those 80 more likes. That's it. Click that like button, guys. You get free RotoGrinders crunch time with Andy Means, Kevin Roth, and JSU. And even though, Kevin Roth, even though he's going to beat the crap out of JSU.
I can't wait till he hears how he's going to be so tilted.
Kevin Roth is going to beat the crap out of JSU. I cannot wait. Here, I'll bet a dime on it right now.
I mean, a real dime or like a 4-digit dime?
4-digit dime.
Oh, I was glad. First of all, I already got a $1,000 bet with JSU, me versus him. So I can take his 1,000 and then let him win it back, win me another 1,000. I'm in for that. All
right, I just got it
booked on air. Yeah,
my Roth versus your JSU.
And just a normal one game, not anything. Just one game, 1-on-1. Yes.
Yeah, Yisman in the chat, he says, get our wives to like it. They can't because they're building their own lineups right now. So
we need them tonight. I mean, we got a lot of news. We need to get it. We need to get these in. I got the kids playing too.
Oh God, and Tony's got like 4,000 kids. So that's they're all Tony's got. Yeah, it's gonna be good. But yeah, click that like button. About 70 more to go. It's gonna be good times if you can get it. 250 likes again. Free crunch time tonight, guys. We got about 10 minutes left, so go ahead and fire up those questions in the chat. Somebody wants to know, are there any forwards that are under 4K that are in play? Under 4K, I assume, since he just has for forwards and not power forward or small forward, that he's talking about Draftkings. We talked about Nerlens Noel, Landry Shamet at 3.8K. He is forward eligible. I'm not playing this Dort dude just because I don't like the name Dort. How brutal would it be to go through life with a name like Dort?
It'd be tough until you were playing in the league, and then it wouldn't be as tough.
Yeah, it's true. I love you, Dort. Yeah, it's just you'll be doing all right after that. Yeah. By the way, the numbers have now been updated, not the projected ownership. But RotoGrinders on DraftKings have Jeff Teague projected at 8x. You're nuts if you fade Jeff Teague. I'm sorry, you're crazy.
Yeah.
To do it.
I don't know. You can't. I mean, the dude is 4K.
Yeah.
He's starting at point guard against. I mean, Lou Williams is awesome. Defense is not one of the things he's awesome at.
No.
So, like, those are the guys. I can't fade Lou. I can't fade Teague. I can't fade Harrell. I mean, if I was going to fade any of the three, it would be Harrell, obviously.
It'd be Harrell. Yeah, it would be Harrell, and you would be.
Think you should, though.
But you would be doing it for Zubac. That's the thing. If you're fading Harrell, I think you do it for Zubac because the only way Harrell is not going to crush at that.
Harrell's going to smash.
Of course he is, unless
he's gonna
foul trouble
smash.
or turn an ankle. That's it. 50 to go, by the way. You got 9 minutes. So click that like button. Free crunch time if we get to 250. We got some more questions coming in. Any love for Russell Westbrook tonight? We talked about Harden. I think on FanDuel it's a little bit tough because I like Harden so much, but I don't know. What do you think about Russell Westbrook tonight? He's always been low-owned lately, man. What do you think about Russ?
So I don't like Russ. He's been way better than Harden lately, like way, way, way better than Harden. But in this matchup versus Denver, I think they're way more equipped to guard Russ than they are Harden. It's just a Harden game for me. I've kind of said this all year. I usually pick one of the two and kind of go with it. I don't really hedge off that. Tonight, I'm going Harden and fading Russ. And I really don't – I mean, Denver has always played Russ pretty good. And Torrey Craig, I know people laugh whenever I say this, but he's guarded Russ pretty well, and I'm sure that he's probably gonna be on him again tonight. So I don't know.
You know, you realize that when you mention Torrey Craig, people immediately take away their likes, right?
They should, because it disgusts me, first of all, that freaking Mike Malone plays this guy over Michael Porter Jr. It's just freaking embarrassing. Porter Jr. is literally incredible. Like, he is unbelievably good. Yeah. And he's starting Torrey Craig over him.
We got a question about LeBron James. I have no problem with LeBron tonight playing in Madison Square Garden. He's not the first guy in my lineup, but if I've got some extra savings, I don't have a problem with that, especially since Anthony Davis is still a little bit banged up. Is LeBron somebody you're interested in paying up for?
So with all this value out there, you're going to have some spots to get crazy on teams. I don't think I'd play him if I was playing one or two teams, but I'm for sure going to have some. And they're coming off that embarrassing loss, too, where they're going to want to bounce back at the Garden. And, I like the LeBron call.
See, and that's how I feel about Harden, too. Like, he has been hearing crap for the last, 3 weeks about how bad he's been shooting.
Do you think he saw the tour dates tweet?
I hope so, because if he does, they might not go in, but he's going to chuck even more. He's still going to keep, and you talked a lot about it earlier. And again, I like doing shows with you when there are nuggets on the slate, because you know exactly how teams attack the Nuggets, and you know exactly what the Nuggets struggle with because you watch them so often, and you're friends with some of the beats. So, you're going to know what's up. And again, Harden, I like these other shooting guards. I like the fact that Marcus Smart is going to be low owned. And it's a perfect game for Marcus. Dude, it's a perfect game for Marcus Smart against Memphis, too.
Boston, for sure, 100%. Boston is the second best, or maybe third now with Atlanta, best team on the slate. And we haven't really talked a ton about them. So, I think you need at least one Boston guy on this slate for sure. They're in a great spot, and Memphis is one of the best matchups. For 100%, you need some Boston.
Okay, so do you have a preference with these guys? Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum. I mean, Smart's he's going to be popular on DK, not so much over on FanDuel. Kemba Walker, I always think is interesting, and it wouldn't shock me if Kemba was kind of the lowest owned amongst those guys. Do you have a preference with these Boston guys?
For me, I would rank them 100%. Hayward first, Smart second, and then Kemba and Tatum kind of flip-flop where they're just expensive. It's hard for me to overpay for one of them. I feel like they're priced pretty good. So,
all right. Here, we're going to talk about sharp side just for a second. Again, my sharp side lock of the day, and I've lucked it in. And I've got a 2-game streak, and it's about to be 3 because Karl Anthony Towns is going over 200, or not 200. That would be a lot.
We got to get him in there if he's going for 200.
Yeah, sorry, Montrez, you're not going to be in that lineup. But I've got him over 23.5 points against the Chicago Bulls. That I would have taken the over at 26.5. So cool. What was your lock of the day, Tony?
So mine, I already kind of talked about it, but I think Houston, this is a huge game for both teams. I like the Nuggets, but Houston's my lock tonight. I mean, they're -9. That tells you just how – I think I got it at 8.5 over on the Sharpside app earlier, but 9 now. They're going to blow this team out. Denver just
you love Denver too. That's amazing to me because you're always like Denver's one of your favorite 11 teams. I know them all. So
they're ranked second on my Power 11.
Okay.
But Houston's just they're too much for them. They just don't match up good with them. And now all of a sudden, I love Michael Porter Jr., but he's not known for his defense either. He's going to get carved up by this team. Denver's going to have to play incredible to stay in this game, and I don't see it happening.
Other guys, other questions that we've got. Somebody wants to know about Monte Morris. Fine. I'm not sure this is the slate for Monte Morris, though. I just think there's better value out there. But if you want to be contrarian, he's going to be low owned, and he's going to get a pile of minutes for Denver. Somebody wants to know about Bradley Beal and cash on DraftKings. And, Tony, I know you're playing a little bit more DraftKings today than I am. I don't see myself playing Beal because with the value, Jeff Teague, Dwayne Dedmon, Nerlens Noel, Lou Williams, this is the stars and scrubs slate over on DraftKings. If you want to pay up, find a way to get to Harden. I don't think you need to be playing, a guy like Bradley Beal. The minutes are down on Beal. He's driving me nuts, man. I'm just done. I'm just done playing Bradley Beal. What price? Actually, it's probably close to 7,200. But either way, I'm not going to do it.
He's 72.
Yeah, it's Sam. Okay, yeah. Any thoughts on De'Aaron Fox tonight? Yeah,
I'm good with taking stabs on a lot of these guys just because, like we've talked about the whole show, I think there's 4, 5, 6 locks, which only leaves you 2 or 3 spots to even tinker with. Mm-hmm. And guys like that are who's going to win the slate, though. Yes. You're not going to win the slate by playing Teague and freaking Lou and Harrell and these guys. You're going to win the slate by somehow banking the Fox or the Jimmy Butler or the just random star type guy that goes LeBron gets 75. You're not going to win. You can build your core around these really good plays, which puts you in a position to win. And then you got to bank it with one of these other guys. Drummond right now should be unowned, like you talked about earlier in the dream matchup. He plays early. It's almost impossible to play him. But a guy like that is going to win the slate. It's going to happen. It's a 12-game slate. And it might even happen early with a guy like Drummond where he gets 65 and all of a sudden it's tough to catch that. So I think I don't think you can really rule out any guy with huge upside on this slate.
Kyle Lowry is cheap. He's 6.6K over on DraftKings. I'm glad he's cheap because if he was more expensive than that with everybody healthy, I wouldn't touch him. This matchup is terrible, so I suppose he should be cheap. I don't want to play Kyle Lowry. Do you?
No, he's the type of guy I'm staying away from on this slate. I'm not going there.
All right, guys, it's the last push. We only got 2 minutes left. If you want free crunch time tonight, you click the damn like button, all right? Don't get cute. You need free crunch time tonight. Why? Normally it's a premium show, but tonight, if you get to 250 likes, we need 30 more. Let's get going, guys. You get 30 more, 250, you're going to get crunch time for free. That means you get to watch Meansy, JSU, and the greatest basketball player at RotoGrinders, Kevin Roth.
I can't believe you gave me Michael Porter Jr. just turned up questionable now, too. That looks good for my sharp side bet. But, you seriously bet 1,000 on real-life American dollars in Nashville? Are we going to have cash on the court to where I can, make it rain on top of JSU?
It's not going to work out for you because you ain't winning nothing.
Roth is not beating JSU in basketball. It's going to be nice.
I love somebody said, come on, Crane, drop it down to 225. Guys, if you think I have that much power, then that is adorable. But no, I do not.
How many do we get? What do we come short at here?
We're like 20 short. What are we at, Devin? 232. 18 people, get your mothers.
What do they got? They got 10 minutes?
They got now, but we'll get
I thought they had till 6:30.
No, but guess what? I'm going to go 1 more minute, and during this 1 minute, if 18 of you click the like button, 18 people, that's nothing. We know there are people.
Oh, Drummond just got rolled out.
Get out of here.
You better get those likes so you can see what to do.
All right, yeah, you definitely better need those likes now.
What a crazy slate.
Oh my goodness. Hey, here, Tony, really quick, we got to get off here. But are you playing Christian Wood tonight now?
I mean, to be honest, like I need to look at it because I wasn't even like. That's a perfect example though of how a guy we weren't even thinking could miss, all of a sudden misses, and now you got Christian Wood against Sacramento. And
How big of a
same
win
things we were
is
just
that?
talking about though? How we love Drummond, like the same thing. Now you got Wood, who's dirt cheap. I mean, if you can adjust to news and you get this crunch time, like you got a big edge today.
Oh, man. By the way, Drummond's just a wimp. He's out with a lacerated lip. Like, get out of here. Give me a break. Yeah, I mean, you're going to get 30 minutes out.
That's another early game, too, so we got all this coming at us quick.
All right, guys, I got good news. You've made it to 250, which means you're going to be just like Tony and I, who are watching Crunch Time with Roth, JSU, and Meadsy, bringing you right up until lock. But we got to get off here now. Thank you so much for tuning in. For the D-Train, for Tony Two Snaps, I'm Eric. We'll catch y'all later. Peace.
Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to Crunch Time. We got a midweek show, big old slate, 3-man booth. We got Means, we got JSU. We have a ton of injury news, and I think this is a free show. I believe we are broadcasting on YouTube to all the people who checked us out, the Grinders live show on YouTube. You gave it a like, gave it 250 likes, and thus you get the golds here. You get the goods with Means and JSU. Means you do not think this is the goods. You did not seem pleased before the show with all this news.
Oh, I just sat down. Have some people been ruled out?
Stop. Yeah, it's been nonstop, right? I mean, it keeps going.
I don't know. I think the last hour. This is off the top of my head. Adams, Drummond. I'm already forgetting Trae Young. So that's just like the three most recent. I think now that I'll cheat a little bit and like look over here at our newsfeed and see. I think those are the main ones. That's just recently. Then you have all the Clippers guys from last night that were officially ruled out. So yeah, it's just a shit show. Can I say that on a free show? Shit show? Can I say shit show?
Yeah, we make up the rules as far as swearing.
Okay.
So yes, I'll allow it. Yes, that is okay.
Thank
Also, we got JSU. You are here to give us your tournament takes. Maybe this is really good for you, all this injury news. I don't know. How do you feel?
I mean, blindsided is a good word.
Okay.
I don't know. But I kind of like these slates because, I don't make that many lineups. So, it's easy for me to kind of pivot in what I want and everything's kind of condensed. So I just kind of decide on what I think is the best way to go. And that's the way I go. There's so many good plays. Like, honestly, I could make, 10 different lineups and have like all different players in these lineups. Like there's so many good plays, but you got to figure out which ones you want to lock in and then kind of go from there. So we got I was ready for some like cheap pivots that to talk about that I haven't even heard yet. And now it's just kind of now we got like 5 different really good cheap plays that kind of blows my sneaky plays out. So We'll see.
Okay. And we got to get to it, I guess. There's so much news, but Means, is this a case of all the work you did earlier in the day is pretty much out the window at this point?
Not on FanDuel because their pricing is really bad. So not as much there. I still like a lot of the guys I wrote about this morning. DK, a little different, yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's also why I just try to, sometimes I don't keep writing because I know something's going to happen. 12 games, and we had all these questionable people. I was like, all right, I'm stopping. Let's just let the news happen.
Yeah, well, the news has happened, and it's time for you to do a little FanDuel cash talk. So get on into it. By the way, everybody, if you want to join us in chat, you can ask questions. Go to the Discord chat, the Crunch Time chat in Discord. That's where I'm going to be taking all your questions. Also, apparently Crane and Big T have $1,000 bet on me and JSU's basketball game. We will talk about that after lock. I have no idea where that's coming from, but we'll get into it.
I'm looking forward, and I will talk about plays after I say this. I'm looking forward to, since I do the show with both of you, I'm going to fix the game and win all of the money with my betting. So
okay,
yeah,
this is
I'm going to make sure you guys, I'm going to make sure one of you wins who I want to win. All right. So FanDuel. All right. So this morning, point guard after, and we got, Jaylen Brown was the other big piece of news. We got that like late morning. So like after that news broke, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to play Kemba and Ricky Rubio at point guard tonight on FanDuel. And then Drummond's out, then Bruce Brown's out, then Trae Young's out. So we have what I think are 4 really good plays at point guard. And I'll preface this too by saying on FanDuel, like, it is the most balanced build I've ever had. Like, we have so many good plays that are underpriced. Like, we've talked about Mitchell for a week now. Lou Will's cheap. Harrell's cheap. Like, you're getting really good plays, but not at really high prices. So it's the most balanced build I've ever had. So when we're talking about, like, guys like might get, like, Monte Morris questions on FanDuel, you don't need it on FanDuel. Like, it's crazy how balanced the build is. But we'll talk about, like, maybe paying up for LeBron just by the nature of the slate. So, like, I think it's a four-man booth here on at point guard. It's D Rose, it's Kemba, it's Rubio, and it's Jeff Teague. So I think you're picking 2 out of those 4. I think at this point, I like Kemba and Rose the best. Those are the 2 I'm leaning towards personally. There's going to be other guys you may land on just by happenstance, but I think it's mainly 4-man group there. So, and then shooting guard is the easiest one to discuss on the slate. Like, these are just like I don't have like Lou will like that's fine. Like Beverly ruled out. They should know by now that Kawhi's not playing on the second night of back-to-backs. Paul George's already out. Maybe you bump his price up a little bit. Not as upset about that one as I am about Donovan Mitchell, who I've literally talked about for a week being just too cheap on FanDuel. I don't see any reason to play anyone other than these two. If you're playing anyone else besides him, these two, it's Kevin Huerter, and he's 5'2", but he's way more valuable on DK where the salary relief means more. Small forward, I still have Hayward tagged. There's like other guys I would want to play instead of him if we had the option, and I'm talking about other positions, but since small forward, you have to play two of them. He's one of the best plays on the slate strictly because of his positional eligibility. So I think he's there. Like Tobias Harris and LeBron James are the other two guys that I see myself landing on. Tobias, I don't love the matchup, but I love the price tag. LeBron, I don't love the game environment necessarily because at least they're on the road, but they're 12-point favorites against the Knicks. Like he's not a great value, but you have to spend at a certain point. Mm-hmm. So it's like, am I spending for LeBron or am I spending for like Bam Adebayo? Those are some decisions you might come across. Past that, I don't. Markieff Morris, I guess, would be the other one to mention, but you don't need the salary relief because, like I said, a point guard. It's just the slate makes him not as necessary. So then power forward, I do like Jason Tatum. He's like one of the guys I like feel best about actually spending on in cash games. He's 7'6", no Jaylen Brown, so he's an option there. The cheap guys. So we have like the Jeremy Grants, Nerlens Noel, who should be starting for Steven Adams. We have Bielitsa. Those guys are all Christian Wood now because Drummond's out. So like those, you have this group of four like we'll call them mid-tier-ish guys. Noel's pretty cheap. You're probably picking between those guys if you're going the LeBron route at small forward. If you're not, you literally might be spending on Bam Adebayo. I don't even know if I had him ranked in my per dollar on CVR today, but he's still a good play. They're going against the Wizards. Like he's not one of the better values, but he's fits roster construction perfectly on FanDuel. If that's the route you go, that's really it. That power forward and center, like Montrezl just at 5'9" is a no-brainer. There's not really anyone else I want to talk about for cash games at center. It's just that clear.
Okay. JSU, let's talk tournament pivots. And if there's chalk or if there's now so many good plays that there isn't even chalk, I'm intrigued to hear your takes here.
Yeah. So at point guard, the guy I was really hoping to play was Trae Young, honestly. And then we get the news he's being ruled out. So that kind of hurt. I really like De'Aaron Fox as a pivot on FanDuel. Really like him overall. I think with all these Sacramento guys out, we've seen Fox kind of up his game since he's been back from that injury where he's just had some monster 50-point fantasy outings in the last week or two. And I really like him here against Detroit. No Drummond. He's going to be able to attack the basket at will. And they're really, they have Christian Wood, they have Morris, but outside of that, that's really it. Sekou, Doumbouya, I think Fox can just dominate in the paint, get wherever he wants, dish, do whatever he feels like doing. So I just see this as a smash spot for him. He'd be my main pivot. I don't mind also Ricky Rubio, who no one's really talking about at 6,100. We saw a huge price drop with him, but it's too cheap. This guy has big upside, and the price is great. So I like those two guys on FanDuel. Shooting guard, interesting here with James Harden. Do people spend up for Harden? I personally think Houston ends up blowing Denver out. I'm probably not going to spend up in my three lineups that I have, but I don't think it's a terrible idea. I just see this as more of a blowout game. I do like Bradley Beal. We finally saw his minutes hit over 30. He got 33 last game. And I expect them to go up again. Tough matchup against Miami, but in a tough matchup, they're going to need him out there for big minutes. So I think his minutes go up again. I see him, playing 35, maybe 36 minutes, and 7,200, way too cheap. Yeah. It's a good pivot off of Lou Will, too. So I like him. And then Kevin Huerter, I have tagged. I think, outside of Jeff Teague, who is an obvious pivot that everyone takes once Trae Young is out, I think Kevin Huerter is the one who gets the biggest bump out of everyone. We've seen him play with the ball in his hands. He can create. He can shoot it. And I just see it way too cheap. No one's going to use him on FanDuel because you only get 2. Everyone's already locking in Lou Will. And then with Donovan Mitchell being cheap, I think this is a perfect spot for Kevin Huerter. You'll get him at 10%, probably ownership, maybe even lower than that. So I like him on FanDuel. Small forward, you got Gordon Hayward, who's probably going to be the chalk. I do like Gordon Hayward. I think if you want it to be a little different, you could pay up for someone like Brandon Ingram. San Antonio has not been good this season defensively, and I think Brandon Ingram has just been playing out of his mind. And with Zion back, everyone's so focused on Zion that they might forget about the guy who's been playing the best and carrying this Pels team, which would be Ingram. So I do like Ingram. And then TJ Warren as a direct pivot off of Gordon Hayward, 5,700 up against Phoenix. I just think the price is too cheap. And I think this game, if it stays close, the Pacers have the second or third best pace bump today. So as a team, so I do think with the pace bump, it's better for a guy like Warren. And I like the price tag. Power forward, you got Sabonis, who no one's going to really pay up for. But in 9,100, Phoenix doesn't really have anyone to guard him, especially when Turner's on the floor, because they'll have Ayton on Turner. So like Sabonis could dominate Saric down low, or Kelly Oubre, whoever ends up playing power forward. So I really like him today. I like that spend up. And then Jaren Jackson at 6,500. I do think this game in Boston stays close. I think Memphis can keep it close, up-tempo matchup because Memphis plays at a faster pace. And I do like Jaren Jackson at his price with the steals and block upside on FanDuel. And then center, I mean, Montrez, in my opinion, is the best play. That's the chalk take there. I think pivots DeAndre Ayton at 8,200 with no Aaron Baines. This guy's been balling out, and I think he can get it done playing huge minutes. I think he saw 38 minutes in his last game. So, I mean, 38 minutes with his skill set, I love that. And then I think you can spend up for someone like Vooch at 8,300 as well. So those are my 2 favorite pivots.
Okay, excellent stuff. Means, do you have anything to add, or do you feel we get to some DK cash?
I'll get to DK real quick. I'll probably preempt some questions. I forgot to mention John Collins at power forward. I think he's like 7'6". I think Jason, I see you have him tagged. I don't recall you talking about him or not, but yeah, I think he's perfectly fine in cash games as well.
Okay, we did indeed have questions. Jason?
Yeah, so I had John Collins tagged. The problem was once we got like the Christian Wood news, and I still love John Collins. It's just there's so many forwards that I ended up untagging him because even though I love him, I only have so many lineups and there's so many good plays. Like I kind of spread it around a little bit. But I do really like him today. I also forgot to mention, I think Jermichael Green is a really, really interesting cheap pivot that no one's talking about. Everyone's talking about Zubac as a direct pivot off of Montrez. I think it's actually Green. I think Green is a really sneaky tournament pivot that no one's going to play, but should see around 25 to 30 minutes in this game.
Okay, good stuff. Means let's talk DK cash.
Yeah, it shouldn't take long. I think DK is really, really straightforward for me. The cheap plays that I was kind of wishy-washy on FanDuel because you don't really need them. They matter way more on DK. So like you see I have Teague and Christian Wood tagged here. Like Christian Wood was 5-1 on FanDuel. 4K on DK is way better. Teague, the 4K tag on DK is way better. So I like starting with this 5. You can make the case like from a priority standpoint that like Harrell would go out and D Rose would go in. I probably would make D Rose one of the next guys here. Then we have other guys at point guard. You have obviously Kemba, who's 7'4". So I think between him, D Rose, and Lou Will, that's 2 guys with point guard, shooting guard, 1 guy with just point guard. I think that is just a phenomenal starting point. You have other guys in this range who are way more viable like an hour ago. And like, I don't know, Kyle Lowry is 6'6". Brogdon is 7'1". Those guys were kind of in my pool earlier, and now it's just like I don't really need them or need to talk about them. So I guess Marcus Smart would be the other one at 5'7". He has shooting guard eligibility, which I will move it over to shooting guard. And you have like the 2 guys I already talked about that you can just play here. I do like Hoyter a lot more on DK as well. He's 5'3". I think he's very much in the cash game conversation here. I like I like him more than Smart, believe it or not. I know Smart had that big game. Was that Monday, I think? We just set the Celtics record for threes, which is remarkable. But that's a little point chasey for me. I'll throw out like Mitchell's name. I didn't mention him at point guard. I didn't mention D'Angelo Russell. Those guys were kind of more viable an hour ago. Even Shamet. Like, I didn't mention Shamet. Like, he's fine, but like I don't need him as much now that I have Teague and I have Wood. I'm sure we'll get some questions on him. Let's move it over to small forward.
Real quick, I'm seeing a lot of people asking Rose over Kemba. DK Cash, Rose v. Kemba.
Oh yeah. I definitely like Rose for the value, and you can make the argument that if you have the money, you should play him as well. So yeah, give me Rose over Kemba.
Okay, forward.
All right, small forward. I got Gordon Hayward tagged. This is one of the weaker positions on the slate, especially on DK. We talked about the same on FanDuel. That's why Hayward just makes so much more sense as just a priority. Because like when you look, you have guys who are expensive. Like you have LeBron at 10.8. You have Beal at 7.2. You have, I think Butler's 8.5. He's kind of in the middle there. Like it's just weird how we have all these great plays at other positions, and small forward is just kind of isolated as being blah. So give me Hayward, and that's really largely it. I think maybe like Fournier would be viable as the last piece, but I've already spent too much time on it, so let's go to power forward. And yeah, this one makes it really easy on us. Like Wood at power forward, that takes away one of the power forward spots. And like for the other forward spot, you can use like Jason Tatum. You can use Markieff Morris. You can use John Collins. You can use Sabonis. Love Sabonis tonight. So that kind of is the group I'm looking at power forward. And then center, like I said, I do love Montrez. You can use Wood there if you want. And then you can use Sabonis there if you want. You can use Markieff there if you want. Nerlens Noel, we'll probably get some questions on him on DK. It's fine. I have no problem doing a double center night on DK. I don't know what they're going to do with his minutes, because we had a couple games where Adams was out and Muskie got more. Mike Muscala got more minutes in one of those games. He closed with the starters. It's like they've been doing. If Adams is out, then Noel plays. If Noel's out, then Adams plays. I don't know if this is a health thing. I think he's fine, but you might not need to do it in cash games. So that's about it for me.
Okay, JSU tournament takes, please.
Yeah, so I talked about Fox enough. I still love him on DK. He's a great play, should be lower owned. I expect guys like Kemba Walker to be popular today. Jeff Teague, obviously Lou Will. Those are the guys you're going to see like in the guard spots. Malcolm Brogdon is a good pivot on DraftKings at 7,100. I think he'll come in at lower owned, especially now with all this news. Let's see, the forward spot. I already talked about Brandon Ingram. DeMar DeRozan on DraftKings at 8,200. I like that price. Bradley Beal at 7,200. Shooting guard and small forward. Solid play. It should be lower owned. I did like Michael Porter Jr. a lot before the questionable tag. Now, if you're staying up on news, if he plays, I do really like.
They just said he's doubtful.
Yeah.
They just said he's doubtful.
Okay. So then forget about that. Does that bump up Will Barton? No, not really, because Will Barton was already seeing 40 minutes. Like he was already going to see as many minutes as possible. So I think Will Barton's fine if you think this game stays close. But yeah, that's really it for small forward. At power forward, I honestly think like now with all this, like Christian Wood news and multiple guys, Gordon Hayward, you can play in the power forward spot. Jason Tatum will be popular. Guys like Sabonis, DeAndre Ayton will be severely lower owned. Like I'm talking like 5%, maybe lower than that for these guys. And they're just way too good. Those are the type of plays that will win you this slate. It's like you can play all the great Clippers and Atlanta guys, but like you need a guy like Sabonis, DeAndre Ayton, someone who can come in and give you 60 at 2-3%, where you're just like, that's how you're going to win the tournament. De'Aaron Fox. So I like those guys. I like paying up for one of those guys. If you could get two, that'd be great. Then your lineup would for sure be different. But yeah, that's really it.
Okay. I had someone in chat say that MPJ is out for what it's worth. But doubtful out.
Yeah.
Either way, you're not playing him. Okay. Anything else means anything you want to kind of circle back to here? Or we've got 10 minutes for QQs.
I'm good.
Okay. Let's do it. We will start with generic FanDuel cash, Barton or Siakam.
That's a good question. I haven't considered either of those guys. Let me see. I would, especially with I would go Barton. Yeah, and he's cheaper too, so you can use that money.
Okay, King Raw says DKGPP, Collins, Westbrook, Hayward, Harden. I think the question here, and it was weirded wordly, Collins and Westbrook or Hayward and Harden?
Collins and Westbrook.
Okay, C-Mac. Wood's not
start. Oh yeah, Wood's not starting. Okay.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah. Let me think here. They're probably doing Don, I would assume. Let's look at his minutes just real quick. This is more of a DK. I just want to see if I want to untag him because it's been a situation where I just want to look at their minutes because they've been giving Wood mainly the center minutes. So I would think like Thon's been basically playing scraps the last 4. Wood's been getting most of the backup Drummond. Yeah.
I think they just want to keep him off the bench. Yeah, I think just they like him with that, the second unit and the energy.
I'm leaving him on DK. Yeah, I'm leaving him on DK.
Okay. JSU, do you have any strong feelings about him? Would you play him in tournaments or no?
I'm going to play him in tournaments. I hope people take him out now.
Okay, excellent. All right, back to it here. Okay, Jay says DK Cash 3 Boston players. Is that too much?
No, it's perfect.
Okay. M Lamp says DK GPP Deadman or Wood? GPP question.
Wood.
Okay. Silencer DK GPP single entry Russell and Gobert or Levine and Cat?
Oh, Levine and Cat.
Okay. GW says DK GPP pick one of Collins, Sabonis, or Ayton. You mentioned you liked Ayton a lot. You actually mentioned you liked all those guys, I think.
I like all those guys. I think with the ownership included, it'd probably be Sabonis, Ayton, and Collins in that order. But I do like all 3 of them.
Okay. We'll go to Rhino FanDuel Cash questions. Noel or Grant?
I got to go Grant now at this point. No Porter. Noel's minutes have been like this, so give me Grant.
Okay. Vice Golf says DK Cash question. Kemba and Collins or LeBron and Shamet?
Oh, definitely the Kemba Collins one.
Okay. Judo Know Me says with Markieff starting on DK at 4-2, is that a fair cash play?
Yeah, I'd be fine with him in cash.
Achilles DK Cash 3v3 Rose, Harris, Bam, or Walker, LeBron, Noel?
I actually like the second one better of that one.
Okay. Connect FanDuel Cash question. Rubio, Noel, or Teague, Bielitsa Pizza?
That's a tough one. I like both of those. I'll probably go the first one.
All right. We'll go to Rylan. Levine or Booker? We'll call it a GPP question because it means you didn't mention either of them, did you?
Levine.
Nope.
Okay. XZ or DKGPP. Is it viable for Bam, Ayton, and Towns in a lineup?
Well, I mean, you should have enough value for sure.
Yeah.
If you want to do it.
Yeah. All right. We will go to It's Orange, baby. DK Cash, final piece. Collins or Beal?
Collins.
You Don't Know Me says Markieff or Wood in cash.
I still go Wood, yeah.
Okay. Rob G, DKGPP, Tatum or Collins?
Collins.
Rhino, FanDuel GPP question. Do I stick with Beal or I do use the leftover money for Russell or Holiday?
I probably use the leftover money on Russell.
Okay. SK says DK Cash, Ayton or Gobert?
I would go Ayton.
Okay. John Tom, DKGPP, I can't believe I didn't ask this one. Please discuss Zion at 5K. Thank you. We got to talk Zion.
Okay, I mean, I love Zion. I think he's going to be great in the NBA. I think he's going to be great for fantasy. I have no idea what they're going to do for minutes. Like, do they give him 15, 20, 25? I'll say this. If he got 22 minutes, I think at 5K, if I was for sure that was going to happen, I would play him. I don't think he needs a ton of minutes to get there at 5K. My issue is I don't know. Yeah. I mean, like, Meansy, do you have a lean on that? Like,
I mean, it sounds like you're kind of like hedging on a little. Like, I feel like you're the kind of guy who wants to know you're going to get a bunch of minutes out of someone if you really want to get first place. So, like, he could easily play like 18 to 20, and this is his first game back in who knows how long. So, I don't see the upper 20s happening at all. So, I'd be hesitant.
Yeah.
Right. It just doesn't do it without the minutes. But like I said, he has the ability in 22 minutes to, get there at 5K.
Okay. Plus, it's a slate where there's plenty of good other plays.
Yeah.
It's not like
Right.
starving to make it stretch.
Yeah.
You don't need to go with him now.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Heat Nation says DKGPP single entry, your favorite 7-1 or under. He says, by the way, I'm already different with Beal, DDR, Fox, and Green.
John Collins.
Collins, okay. Yep, that's me. DK Cash, Kemba Tatum, or Rose Russell, or Sabonis.
If you're doing the second one, I would do Sabonis over Russell, but I still like the Boston one better.
You figured that one out better than I did. Good work. Let's see. DK Cash 3 Celtics fine. We said yes to that. TV says 2v2 Lowry Tatum. This is DK Cash. Lowry Tatum or Rose Collins?
I would do the second one.
KM says, I missed it. Is Meansy still on Wood as a core with him not starting? The answer was yes. Pick Me Kevin, love the name, says DK Cash, Dedmon Ayton versus Wood Sabonis versus Tatum Noel.
Kind of like the middle one.
Okay, Wood Sabonis. Tyler Jackson says, DK Cash, is it okay to fade Montrezl for Gabbert?
I mean, that's not where I would spend my money, I guess. So it's not something I would do.
Okay. Joey Rock, FanDuel Cash, Noel or Grant?
Yeah, I'll go Grant, just slightly over Noel now.
Okay. It's Tyler Jackson says DK Cash and GPP. Is Jokic viable?
It wasn't any of my cash game builds.
For a game stack, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Achilles, DK Cash, rank them. Collins, Rose, Beal means?
Rose, Collins, Beal.
All right. Xeer says, I can't believe I'm asking this, but in a DK GPP, is Dwayne Dedmon a thing?
2 minutes.
I'm not playing that thing, so go.
Maybe a thing, but it's not one you're interested in. All right. We got roughly 2 minutes here until lock. Hoop Culture says DK GPP, Wood and Sabonis or Ayton Dozier?
Wood and Sabonis.
JMVP says DK Cash, having all your players in 2 or 3 games a bit too much on a slate this big?
Nope.
You don't care if it's all in one, all spread out. You don't care, right? Not for cash.
No, you got great matchups, and the ones we're talking about, Boston and the Clippers, have 2 of the best matchups on the slate. And guys are out. It's perfect.
Yep. Okay. Austin Banks, DK Cash, Rose or Kemba? Then he would like to add Kemba projects higher, but Rose's usage is higher.
I mean, if you're going on projections, then go with the guy who projects higher because usage is factored in. I think it's a toss-up. If you can use the money to upgrade elsewhere, then use Rose. Otherwise, both are fine.
Okay. MLAP says, DK GPP, I need a guard pivot off Shamet at 3.8 or less.
Ask me a question.
Okay. How much Jeff Teague is too much Jeff Teague? Means?
Ask me in an hour.
Yeah, because you're going all of it, right? You're fine.
No, I mean, on DK, I think you can go all of it. On FanDuel, maybe not as much.
Yeah. Okay. You got anything at 3.8 off Shamet?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could go with Korkmaz.
Okay. Frickin' Korkmaz. GWB DK has Wood as a starter. There's a green check, but it's not really a question. How about Hernan Gomez as a GPP play with Porter and Plumlee out from Kaya?
As a last play, I think you could do it.
Okay,
And that's lock.
Okay. That is the lock, but don't go anywhere, whether you are watching here in the Crunch Time slate or hanging out in the YouTube. This is when it gets good. We get to play some games. I'm going to talk some crap because apparently I've got a basketball game coming out. So hang out with us.
Yeah, so now we have some time. So Crane and Big T were saying that they're betting their own money against your one-on-one game against JSU. Is that accurate?
Apparently. I don't know how I feel about this at all, JSU. Are you comfortable with this?
Did they set a line?
Yeah,
No, I think it's just
I don't know
straight
if they set a. I don't know if they set a line.
It's straight up, man.
I think it's just me against Roth for $1,000 or something.
Yeah, just for what it's worth, I'm 34. I play basketball 5 times a week. I'm 6 foot, 200 pounds, and I'm basically Russell Westbrook, only like more athletic.
And also quite humble.
Very humble.
So for people who don't know, Roth is the same. This is the same Roth who every Friday when he throws in the Crunch Time tournament, which is his own tournament that he makes up and throws in out of 100 people, he literally tells every single person in the chat as they're entering this tournament that I'm going to crush you.
I do.
And he's won.
Are you saying he might oversell it a little bit?
Just a little bit. I mean, the guy plays JJ Barea and Boban just every chance he gets.
I wish I played Boban last night. I'd have done a lot better. I'll tell you that. No, I don't know about this. I'll if they lower the bet to like $10 or something, I feel like because for $1,000 I will kill a man. Like I will play against JSU and try to kill him. And it's not even my money. I just want to win whoever backs me, like as a champion. So
can you confirm the rumors going around that you're getting considered for a 10-day in Dallas since Pal's out for the year?
It's actually true. Yeah, they were looking for an athlete, a real rim runner, can finish up by. So they're bringing me in on that.
So just to give everyone insight on me, I am 5'5", and a half on a good day. I weigh about, pushing 140, 145,
You must be good though.
Yeah, I mean,
he's feisty as hell. Look at him. He's gonna get under your shit, man. He is gonna get way down low. He's not gonna let you dribble. He's not gonna let you go anywhere.
That's what I do. I'm like the aggressive, feisty one. So I can't imagine someone out aggressive, feistying me. And I don't know. I'm not gonna talk a bunch of shit. I'm just gonna play hard, and we'll see what happens. But after I talk a bunch of shit,
through the 5-on-5 game that we're having, I want to see this one-on-one game.
Now, though, I have a one-on-one game against Big T, who's 6. Big T's like bigger than Roth. He's 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah, he's way bigger than I am. Yeah,
and I think he's got at least 20, 30 pounds on you at least. Yeah. What are you, 210?
Yeah, I mean, Big T's.
Yeah, and Big T's good. Like Big T's actually really good. Like
he's going to try to play you first, get you tired, then bet $1,000 on Roth.
He's got the money on JSU though.
He's got the money on me, so he's going to make sure I play Roth first, tire me out for Big T's game.
Yeah. All right.
Either way, Big T's going to win. It doesn't matter.
All right. We're going to get back to some of this. I am intrigued to see what happens. I'm looking forward to it. I hope we can play before the 5-on-5 because I am not in as good a shape as you. So if we play after the 5-on-5, you'll probably.
I thought you play every day. I don't play basketball nearly as much.
5 days a week.
5 days a week. It's just 5 days a week.
You play 5 days a week. I've played 5 days all year. Literally played 5 days all year. And one of them was at Tennessee, in Nashville last year.
Yeah.
No. I play like alone in a gym. I don't play against I dribble and shoot around. I don't actually
that doesn't count.
Well, it counts. I got a ball in my hand. It counts. Hey, real quick, because there is actually still content going on. Someone pointed out.
Wait, are we still doing this slate right now? I thought the slate was done.
We should
Stupid late swap.
Check in occasionally. Someone, K Journey said Harris is out. Were we expecting that? I wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
We were.
Yeah, Gary Harris, yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure we didn't get something sneaking by us. Let's see. Hey, we're still going to take questions. We're going to play Gladiator, which is we rank your line. Is it good or bad? We give you the thumbs up. And we're going to play Was This Stupid? You tell us a play that you made, and we'll tell you if it was stupid. So We've got 5 or 10 more minutes.
While we wait on those questions to filter in, I'm excited to just sit there and watch all of you people play basketball. I'm going to sit on my
Here's the thing. You have to play.
Playing. You have
JSU
to play.
and I will boycott our game if you don't play the 5-on-5 game. We need you in.
100%. You can ref our game. How about that, Meansy? We'll let you ref our game.
I am not ref. Oh, refing the one-on-one game?
Yes.
No, call your own. One-on-one, call your own.
Call your own.
I thought you wanted to rig it one way so you could win.
I want to go out there. I just want to go out there and shoot, man. I don't want to be running up and down. Whew. Tired just thinking about it.
You have to.
That's all you have to do. Means you don't have to do anything except like jog down the court. I'm going to find you open. I'm going to set a pick for you, and you're going to launch threes, and it's going to be fun.
That's a problem because you just said I have to jog down the court, and I'm going to be tired, and then I'm going to miss.
You can slowly get down the court.
I told Rob this before the show. I'm packing my shoes. That's all I can promise you.
That's a good sign, man.
Hey, I saw you. You were ready to play in the gym last year. So
no.
You were there and your shoes were on. I saw you. You were at the gym. You just didn't get on the court. You were there.
That's about as far as I'm getting.
No, you're playing. All right, a few questions. TMH, another one of these was, were we expecting this? Were we expecting Harrell to not start?
Yes.
Probably, yes. Yeah. Chult says, was this stupid? We got a was this stupid DKGPP. So this one's for you, JSU.
I'm intrigued. Way to set it up.
Okay. Was this stupid? Rose, Fox, Thon, and Dedmon.
Okay. So the only thing I mean, I'm not on Dedmon. I'm not going to call anyone stupid. I'm just not on him. Thon, I think, is a dumb play. Just dumb. Because
do you think it's stupid?
Yes, it's stupid because he's not going to play. He's not going to play big minutes. Christian Wood, if Christian Wood's rolling, Christian Wood's going to play 30 minutes. That's going to kill Thon's minutes. He's going to see.
And if Thon does play a bunch of minutes, he sucks. So he won't score fantasy points anyways.
There you go.
Yeah. That by the way was my. That was Thon. Thon gave me.
I like the idea of stacking the Sacramento side. I talked about some of those guys. Like I like that idea because everyone's on this Detroit. Like Rose and Wood and everyone, but like no one was going to play the other guys on the other side. And I thought like Fox was a great play. I mean, like Buddy Hield, if you needed a small forward, like those guys were good plays. They're missing a few bodies, right? Like
I like the Dedmon one on DK because like if you look back at the last two games we had with no Bagley and no Holmes, which is what is tonight, they started Giles. And that first game they had it, Dedmon came in, played well. He was a part of the unit that brought him back, and he played like 31 minutes. And then the next game, Giles started again, and him and Dedmon combined for like 26 minutes, and they played a bunch of Bielitsa at center. So now they're actually starting Dedmon, which I think is a good sign, and he's 3-1 on DK. Like, you could run into that game where he plays 30 minutes again. If he plays 30 minutes again, he's probably getting 28, 30 DK points, and he's 3-1. So, like, I love it for tournaments. You just don't know where the minutes are going to be.
The problem, too, is with Dedmon is they could just play Bielitsa at center and play Harrison at the 4, right? Like that's something that could happen. So that's the other worry too. They could go small because Drummond was the only person they were worried about down low. They're not worried about Thon or even Christian Wood, I think is good, but like they're not worried about them down low. They're small, they're skinny, they're tall and lean. Drummond's just a big body. They would need someone like Dedmon out there. So with him out, like I don't know if that guarantees Dedmon big minutes, but you're right. If he's rolling, they'll keep him in there.
A few more questions here. Okay, Ross has a good question. He says, DKGPP, am I missing something with J-Val? He's only 4% projected owned, and I think people are overrating his tough matchup versus Boston. Plus, he seems like the ideal runback option in a game stack with the Celtics chalk. Why should we not be on J-Val and a DKGPP? JSU?
I never said you shouldn't be.
Right.
The guy who asked the question sold me. I thought it was a great play without even having JSU answer it. So.
Yeah, I mean, like I like J-Val. I think the reason why, first of all, it's not really as tough of a matchup as Boston as a defensive unit is a strong defensive unit. But Jaylen Brown is one of their better defenders. He's out. And let's be honest, the one weak spot would be the center position, the bigs down low. So, I mean, I think JVal's a strong play. There's just so many good plays that we can't mention them all. Like, I could give out, 10 plays per position, but that wouldn't help people. Like, I try and narrow it down. And I think Meansy does too, to a point. It's like he gives out as many cash plays as he can, but he could probably give out more on slates like this. It's just there's so many.
Okay, so it was a good play. All right, let's play a little gladiator and then take a few more questions and then dip out. You ready? Okay, this is from New York Jets. It's a gladiator DKGPP. You ready?
Do I have to play still?
Yeah, you still have to play.
Yeah.
Okay. I start everybody in
JSU starts down.
All right.
This is
DKGPP. All right.
This is like Nashville. You have to play.
All right. Teague, Will, Shamit, Wood, Noel, Levine, Collins, Cat.
I like that. He's got a mix of chalk and some mix of I like that.
JSU, did you think it was too chalky?
I got to the halfway point.
Okay. What was your greatest issue? A little too chalky for you?
No, I think he differentiated because he had guys like Levine and Cat who are going to be lower owned. So I didn't mind that. I'm just not big on the Shamet and the Noels, and I just wasn't on those guys. So
okay. One more here from Quicksilver, another gladiator. FanDuel main slate. He didn't say cash or GPP. We'll call it a GPP. All right. We got Simmons, Walker, Williams, Mitchell, Hayward, Harris.
This is a cash lineup.
Yeah, I'm loving it. Harris, Tatum, Bielitsa, Montrezl. All right, so I love it.
I could be wrong. That might, at a certain point, that is what our projections were spitting out. So I guess we should all give it a really big thumbs up now that we go back and do it. Can we rewind that?
I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was a GPP line. I thought it was a GPP lineup until
hold on.
Said cash. So.
I feel like I gotta take my.
They didn't say GPP or cash, so I don't know.
At a certain point, that was popping out of our projections. Yeah.
A few questions here, and then we'll get out of here. Did we talk about Hernan Gomez? Did we do that one already?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then let's get to Atlanta's question. He says, Conley has taken over the Moutier role. Now that his minutes are starting to ramp up, whose minutes does that hurt in the starting lineup so long as Conley is still playing off the bench? Great question.
Joe Ingles.
Yeah, but if he's just taking the Moutier role, I still think they close with Ingles. So, it shouldn't hurt that much, I don't think. It'll probably, he was playing, mid to high 30s at a certain point. Then they kind of took him back down to just, strictly mid 30s. But it really just comes down to who – and it might be, a case-by-case basis, which kind of sucks for us, for projecting. But, it may just be who they roll with the hot hand, it's Ingles or Conley. And it's going to change up probably as we move along the season.
Okay. G. Swenson with a question. So now that there's likely to be 8 active Nuggies, do these become solid GPP leverage on DK off of the chalkier Clips and Celtics?
We have 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 9 active Nuggets, if that matters at all.
Okay. Do you like them as GPP leverage plays, JSU? Off the chalkier Clips and Celtics?
Yeah, I do. I think that, I wouldn't go all in personally because I really think they get blown out. But I do think you can play some of them and, you could get some value from them like the Malik Beasleys and stuff like that. But, they weren't really high on my list just because games in Houston. I think Houston just runs them off the floor. They just don't have enough.
Have you seen
enough shooting?
Have you seen Harden try to shoot lately? Is he going to run anybody off the floor? What has happened?
Come on.
What has happened to him? He looks terrible.
It's James Harden. He'll be fine.
I know.
He's missing.
Yeah, a lot. He's still shooting, but he's missing. Hey, guess what, guys? We made it to 6:15. if you're Central Time. That is generally when we get on out of here. That was a fun show. JSU, I want to play you one-on-one. I don't want there to be any money on it because I don't want added, like, you're my friend. You're my friend. I don't want to play against you extra hard and have it be weird. But I'm looking forward to playing.
I kind of want to see you try to, like, destroy me, though. I kind of want to see it. I would welcome that because it's like a competitor's thing. You know what I mean? Like, I respect. Yeah. If I'm taking Big T on in a one-on-one matchup, I'm not going to be afraid to take someone on who's smaller than Big T in a matchup. I've already put my money where my mouth was on playing Big T. So, like, you guys are bigger than me. Whatever.
Crane in the chat says, WTF? Roth, eat him. All right, fine.
Crane, I'll play you next for 1,000, okay? I'll play you after Roth and Big T when I'm tired, and we'll play for 1,000 if you would like, or anyone else.
Let's get out of here. We've still got, a week and a half to talk crap before the matchup, so we got plenty of time to do that. So for JSU, for Meansy, for Devin working hard behind the scenes, everybody here hanging out with us. Oh, yes.
I want everyone, do me a favor, like and subscribe on YouTube if you're still watching. That helps us out.
I was gonna get there.
Were you?
Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say, everybody in the Crunch Time chat and everybody in YouTube, thank you for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. We love you. Like and subscribe. We will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.